Good evening, people of the cardboard, and welcome back to Fun Deck. So we have a bunch of new reveals from Premium Pack 26 or PP26. So this is a really weird pack we don't tend to get in Land of the Free, but it tends to like bleed through our packs, and then some come out like the Monster Mayhem or whatever Mayhem packs we get. It seems like this time they will have kind of released support for most of the Yu-Gi-Oh eras, especially focusing on the older ones. So that's pretty cool. So let's get into it. So we have Learning Elf. This is a level 3 light spellcaster, attack 14, defense 15. So attack and defense are not equal. It's something you have to pay attention to with spellcasters now. Okay, you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name, each once per turn. If this is a card's normal or special summon, you can set one trap from your deck that has effect to equip itself to a monster. Ooh, interesting. Okay. And then if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can draw one card. I'm trying to think. Ooh, this is... I'd have to look through this. Obviously, there's Metal Morph. I know there's the new Doom Z cards also benefit from this. I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to look through these after this and see which are the viable targets. And I might make a follow-up video if it's interesting, but probably not if it's just like a couple. Metal Morph, yeah. All right, then we have Armament Reincarnation, and special one Armament Reincarnation token. Warrior Light, level 1, attack 500, defense 500. Up to the number of equipped spells and traps with effect to equip themselves to a monster in your graveyard. Then you can destroy as many cards in your spell and trap card zone as possible, including this card. Then set as many equipped spells and traps with effect to equip themselves to a monster as possible from graveyard. All you can special from the rest of the turn. These traps can be activated this turn. Wow, this is really cute. I mean, it's completely unplayable, unfortunately, given the whole second condition of not being able to special for the rest of them. That's too restrictive. They could have locked you from the extra deck even, that'd be fine. But yeah, this is just silly. I like that. Yeah, I think this is pretty cute. And I like that we're grouping equip spells and traps that can become equip spells together. I think that's really neat. But yeah, this is probably a very unplayable card. It's also, I don't know if anything can search it. Anyway, and we have Mirror Barrier. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Target one face-up monster you control. Equip this card to as equip card with the effect. Once per battle step, if the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster. Okay, fine. If this card is destroyed, you can add one Armament Reincarnation from your deck to your hand. Okay, I mean, you can kind of see the loop they're going for here, which is that you use the elf to search this. This can basically destroy anything by battle or makes the elf basically impossible to out by battle. And then if this card goes away, you can search this the spell card that can then set this card and activate in turn. So it's a cute loop because theoretically the second effect is once per turn, sure. But if it's not out of that turn, you continuously like float into the reincarnations if you want to have 3 copies in your deck. Completely unplayable. So these 3 cards thus far, I'd say I give the elf, 2 out of 5. It's interesting. There might be other weird targets that it might see some play. And then these other 2 cards, kind of 1 out of 5. Pack filler, yeah, pack filler for the most part. All right, then we use Poisonous Viper. So this is a level 1 Earth Reptile, attack 100, defense 200. I like this. I like that they've kind of moved away from level 4 reptiles because then you don't have to just play Mitsurugi, but if you want to play another reptile pilot, you could. Hopefully it has a good effect. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. So you can reveal this card in your hand, special summon it, or if your opponent controls no monster, special summon it to their field and defense position instead. Weird. Okay, so this is not an optional effect. So basically, if you're going first, you're going to have to give this to your opponent. Okay, once per turn during your standby phase, you take 500 damage. Weird. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect or banished, you can target one opponent's set spell and trap card destroyed. It cannot be activated in response to this card activation. All right, this is pretty much pointless. I'm going to give this actually a 0 out of 5. I just don't see a context, and if this was at least an extender, it could see some play, but it's only kind of a weird going second extender with a pretty, I mean, it maybe could come into Odoatic card like decks if you're going second, because this would work if you mill it by a card effect. You can basically pop opponent's spell trap and they can't respond. So that part's nifty. I think you could see some play. It's just weird that it's like basically a not extender. I don't know why they made it that way. They could have just had this be extended for reptiles, and that would be at least something to consider. But the way it's worded is super weird. Okay. But that's what you expect from PP cards. This one, I think, has the most hype. Again, haven't read it, though. So this is a Mass Hero Fountain. This is actually pretty cool, just because we did get some Mass Hero support that's coming out in Maze of Muertos of the TCG. I forget exactly what set came out in the OCG, but we got this Mass Hero Furnace and Mass Hero Duskcrow. This one's pretty cool because if it's summoned, you can add a Mass Hero from your deck to your hand. So hopefully this is worthwhile. They just don't have too many Mass Hero main deck cards that are worthwhile to summon. So it's Mass Hero Fountain. It's a level 4 Water Warrior, attack 14, defense 15. You only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can reveal this card from your hand special summon when hero monster from your hand defense position. All right, that's cute. It can kind of extend itself or something else. Sure. If this card is sent to the grave to activate a card effect or by card, you can set one mass change from your deck to or graveyard. Ooh. Okay, I think this could actually be cool. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just going to look through the other. Oh, you can banish one to special summon this one. That's fine. And then this. Okay, so this one theoretically could combo with Furnace because you do discard as part of the effect. I like that this triggers off of discarding as cost or buy card effect. That's neat. I don't think we've seen anything like this. Also, this attack set's wrong. It's 1,000, 1,400, not 14, 1,500. So cool. Thanks, YG Organization. But I think this is pretty cool, and I know there's some, some of the Vision Hero send from deck to graveyard. This, I think, has a lot of potential playability. I also think it's cute that theoretically this could work on, like, Mermail. I know that doesn't work, but, like, it's nifty that's a water card that activates when sent by as cost. So I like this card a lot. I think this is 4 heroes, really solid. I'm going to give it probably, let's go 4 out of 5. I think Mass Change has always been hard to search, and so having something that can set it from deck or graveyard, so you still only need 1 copy and can get into Dark a lot, it's a house. I think this is really nifty. Unless you use Shadow Mist for searching, so you don't have to use it just for the searching, let's use Shadow Mist for its hero search effect, not for its just Mass Change effect. So I think it's pretty cool. All right, then we have Fallen Angel in Darkness. So this card is always treated as a Dark Lord card. Why not just make it a Dark Lord card? Okay, sure. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Send 1 fairy monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Special summon 1 Dark Lord monster from your hand, deck, or banishment, ignoring summon conditions. Ooh, that's nifty. I kind of like that, giving all fairy decks access to Dark Lord stuff. And this is also neat because it is a Dark Lord card. All of the, I think at least OG Dark Lords, it's been a bit since I read them, but like the big monsters can send Dark Lord spell traps from deck to grave and then activate their effects. So you could theoretically use one to tag into another name. I think this might be pretty cool. I think it's worthwhile to look into see how this changes Dark Lord combos. I think this definitely will see play in that deck. I just don't know if that deck is going to be, that great. I know they recently-ish got support, I think in Burst Protocol. So I'll give this a 3 out of 5, but could tentatively be much better. I like that I can also send a fairy from hand or face a field. So lots of interesting plays there. So cool. Oh, then we got Junk. So this is cool because we did, obviously in the TCG, if you are America, you haven't gotten it yet, but in other places that are TCG, they have released the new structure decks. So that had Junk support, and then the OCG got that, is it Duelist Fellows or Fellows Brothers, something structure deck that had Junk stuff. So hopefully this is cool, as long as it mentions Scrap Warrior or Scrap Synchron. All right, so this is Junk Armor. It's level 2 Earth Warrior. Attack 6, defense 12. You only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it. Okay, cool. Your opponent cannot target synchro monsters you control with Warrior and or Stardust in their original names with card effects. Okay, still fine. You can trade with this card special summon one Junk or Synchro monster from your deck in defenseman except armor. I think it depends on the searchability. My understanding is that you need to search specifically Junk Synchron, and instead they mock us by saying Junk or Synchron. It doesn't really count. I think this still would see play just because I think it's worthwhile to have this be basically like a Lone Fire Blossom for the archetype. I'm sure that would see some play. I think obviously Junk Synchron needs you to normal summon it to get its effect, but I think this is still, I'm sure there's some combo you can go and use this using Junk or Synchrons. I think this is see some play. I just hope the searchability is there for it. I'd have to look into that. So I'll give this a tentative 3 out of 5. If for that deck, it's pretty decent. Then we have Junk Meister. It's a level 4 Earth Warrior. What about this as a warrior, by the way? Because I saw these images first before they were translated. I was like, finally, machine support. Yeah, Earth Machine, that's great. Maybe it could help my RB deck. And then I was like, oh wait, no, it's a warrior. That's a bummer. So it's a attack 100, defense 2300. This is a huge booty. I think, I mean, I know there's a Japanese exclusive card that's like a 24 or 2500 defense. But yeah, I think they should really give low monsters really high defense. I like that. And who cares? Anyway, that was a tangent. So you can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once returned. So you can re-evolve one warrior or stardust synchro monsters in your extra deck, special in this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special from the extra deck for the rest of your turn except synchro monsters. This is huge. This is awesome. Just a nice extender for warriors. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one junk card from your deck to your hand except Junk Meister. Okay, so this is basically, I guess I kind of want to say a circular. I know it doesn't send, but this is huge, right? Obviously, you can just summon this out on any deck and search out any junk card. And so you can search the other one, which you can obviously special summon it. And then you can tribute it off, which is really cool. And neither of these are tuners, so that's fine. But yeah, this is really nifty. And then you can target one junk monster control, decrease its level by up to 2. Love that. Love that. So this is just fabulous for junk. I think this is, funny enough, better than every single card the structure deck gave them. The structure deck sucked. Did not have one playable card. These two are really good. I'm going to say this one, just because it's a extender and a searcher in one, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Again, don't know if this helps the deck be playable, but if you want it to be, this is the sport you need to release. And then these two in tandem work super well together. I love that. This being basically a combo you can perform. This you maybe would even play as a 1 of now. And then 3 of the Meister, summon the Meister, add this, summon it, and then tribute it off to get any type of synchron you want. And then if the levels don't match, you can modify with this. So that's just really, really cool. I love that. I love that so much. And it's a junk card. I think that searches the new spell card too. No, that's Synchro Fellow. Sorry, I was looking at it. Synchro Fellowship. So not quite, but I'm sure there could be other junk cards you can search off of this. This is great. Keep doing it, Konami. Can't wait to get this in, I don't know, 2027 or something. All right, moving on. We have overtuning. So we just got the Jack Atlas board announced in the next set after Bruce Protocol. I forget its exact name. So this seems relevant to that. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. It's a normal spell card. If you control tuner special one tuner from your hand, deck, or graveyard, all you cannot special an extra for this turn after this effect results, except synchro monsters. So I love this. I love the fact that the clause is in the effect resolving, which is nifty. I also think this is amazing in Killer Tune. This will be a 3-up in that deck. This is really, really cool. I think, I'm not sure in terms of other decks, but just in terms of Killer Tune needs support, and they need something that was kind of useful to it, but useful in other decks too. And I think this is perfect for it. This is really nifty. I think Jack Atlas decks like the Red Dragon Archfiend, I think they'll play this too, just because it doesn't negate the effects of the monster that's summoned at all. You're just locking in the synchro. So I think this is fabulous synchro support, which I think they definitely need some help. So I'm going to give this a, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Really, really good. All right, and then we have Champion's Pulse. You can activate one card with this card's name per turn. Activate one of these effects during your opponent's battle phase. They gain 1,000 life points. Then you end the battle phase. Ooh, interesting. I love this as a generic card. I wish that meant anything, but fine. It is a normal trap, but anyway. When your opponent activates a monster effect, if they control more cards than you do, special one Red Dragon Archfiend or Hot Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck or graveyard, and if you do, negate that effect. If you do that, destroy the monster. Ooh, this is cool. So this is theoretically, I know this is just me, this is a generic out, okay? So this is just, yeah. So this is sorry. Oh yeah. So this is a generic monster negate. Theoretically, you're generic-ish. Your opponent needs more cards than you do. But if you just want to set this card and like have nothing else, theoretically you can summon either of these. Wow. Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just looking at the fact. But yeah, so you can summon either of these, Red Dragon Archfiend or Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, right, for free, and then negate and destroy that monster effect. I mean, I don't know how relevant that is in other decks, but this is, again, it's weird because I was actually kind of disappointed in the Red Dragon Archfiend support. This trap is better than like most of the support they got there. I would say this card, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I know that seems weird. It's not like super amazing. I love that it's generic. I love that, honestly, I'm considering this as a Genesis card. Just because all it needs is like a Red Dragon Archfiend in your deck check. That's not that big of an ask for many decks to have. And having a monster negate, especially just like for low dedicated boards, like playing this in a deck like, Fire King or something where you're blowing up your board off. And anyway, I think this is pretty nifty. Theoretically, it's also nice just to end the battle phase and stall for a turn, but I think this is pretty cool, especially because it mentions RDA, so you can search it out. So I know I'm giving it 5 out of 5. That's just my own take. I really, really like this. I think this will definitely see play in that deck just because, it gives you your Red Dragon Archfiend and it's a monster to get on top of it. Really, really cool, Konami. Good job. All right. Gagaga Illusion. So weird. We're kind of blending the synchro with the Exceed, but sure. It's a normal spell. It's a Gagaga. I think that means it is searchable by some of the new support we've been getting. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. If you control a Gaga monster, target one monster in your graveyard, special limit, then you can make its level rank become equal to the level rank of one Gaga monster control. This queue, I think there's like a Gagaga magician or like sorceress retrain that is a rank 4 that can search this. So theoretically, just a monster reborn that's searchable. Nice. If this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it immediately after this for all or resolves normal summon one Gaga monster. Fine. I mean, it's obviously very slow. I think we've moved past that being really relevant in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh. I think this is cute. I think this is a 1-up. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's going to see some play, I think, in that, Onomatopoeia deck. Because it is just a free reborn theoretically. It's situational, but I don't think it's crazy to have Gagaga cards. Especially because like the new Kage to Kage, I think counts for all the Onomatopoeia cards. But this is fine. And then I think the last of the Exceeds, it's Gagaga Escape. Counter Trap. You only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect, if you control a Gagaga monster, negate that activation, then you can discard one card. And if you do, special one Gaga monster from your deck. Ooh, cute. Don't know if that summon during your opponent's turn would really matter. Giving them a searchable monster is pretty big for the deck. You can banish this card from graveyard. Changes made Gagaga monsters you control to defense position. And if you do, Gagaga monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card victor turn. And it says one Gagaga monster. I'm confused that there's, very unprofessional. I'm actually going to go to the Yugioh organization. Let's see. No, this is the 5Ds. Go back. I just want to check to see if that has been modified. My gosh, there's just so much. I don't know why they broke this up like this, but sure. Yeah, no, it just was a typo. That's good. I wanted to make sure it didn't like have a clause or some weird thing. This is a great card. This one's a 4 out of 5 for me. I think the reason for that is giving them, again, that card is searchable off of the Gagaga Sorceress card. Search this out, set it, game monster gate is huge. And then I don't know what Gaga monster you would add, or special summon during your opponent's turn that have some relevance, but I'm sure there's at least one that would be useful. But it's really this graveyard effect, meaning you can't die, which is really cool. And I mean, theoretically, in certain decks, if you're playing into like a Regeki or Board Wipe or, Torrential or Murakumo, something like that, just having this in graveyard through like a discard or sending it and then using this to protect yourself is nice. Again, this one, it's weird. It says the better graveyard effect for sure than the normal spell, but you can't activate. You can activate this one in the same turn as you use the negate. Yeah, I'm really confused why. Anyway, let's keep going. So I think this might be the last of the Zexal cards. This is Endless Bond. It's a continuous spell. This card is always treated as an XYZ card. Great, so it's searchable off of several things. You can only use activate one card with this card's name per turn. When this card resolves, you can special summon one number 39 Utopia from your graveyard. Oh, for you graveyard, okay, never mind. And if you do, it gains attack equal to the total attack of all light Utopia and Utopic XYZ monsters in your graveyard. Fine. When you're attacking Utopia or Utopic XYZ monster whose original husband is light destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can make that monster you control lose 1,000 attack, and if you do, it can make another attack roll. Fine. This is let's say 1 out of 5. I don't think this is playable even in any type of, a Utopia deck. It's basically just a reborn for a card you don't want to send to graveyard anyway. Maybe there's a combo, heaven forbid that I'm missing an XYZ combo, but yeah, this one's just fine. All right, Thor Fangs of Violent Poison. Ooh, this one looks like it might be, is this Rose Dragon? I'm not sure. Pride of Plant. All right, cool. I like these cards. I think they've had some, not really too much of that, but this is always treated as a Predap card. I think they just got bored of trying to make interesting titles out of these. That's my own opinion. Target one, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. You control, destroy many monsters your opponent controls with lower attack as possible. Then you can discard your entire hand if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's total original attack. Also, the target monster cannot attack this turn. All right, this is pointless. I mean, like it's fine. I don't know how searchable this is off the deck. I need to look into it, but anything that requires you to target your own stuff is and discard your entire hand. Yeah, this is weird. Maybe there's a combo where this is relevant. It's just also weird that you can't even attack that turn. I'm sure. I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5. I mean, it's a board wipe, sure, but Regeki's at 3. Why would you play this unless it's super searchable? Um, penetration fusion? Is that really what we're going for? Okay. I really hope they change the name there. That would be hilarious if they don't, though. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. If a monster was destroyed by battle this turn, fusions them one fusion monster from your X check using monsters from your hand or field. And if you do, it gains its effect. Quick effect, you contribute this card, then target one face-up monster you control. It gains 500 attack. What is the point of this? I mean, yeah, it's nice. I think I commented before, it's weird that a lot of the quick play fusions don't work in the battle phase. And this one only, like you obviously can do in the battle phase, you can basically ram something into something else and then use this. I don't know why this is a thing. This is just really bad. Why would you play this over like a super poly? It does have fusion in the name, so maybe it's more searchable, but it's obviously more restrictive. I just don't see the point of this. Okay. So, oh, sorry. I'm going to give this a, I'll give this 0 out of 5. First 0 out of 5 today. Surprise fusion. All right. Surprise and penetration. Woo. It's a normal spell. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Target one face-up monster you control and declare one type and one attribute. That monster becomes a declared type and attribute. Then you can fusion someone with fusion monster from your check using monsters to control, including the target monster. Okay, so it's only monsters to control, but you can change its type and attribute, which actually is pretty relevant. There's a lot of cards that are weird or lock you into only certain types of attributes when you're summoned, so I like that. I think that is pretty cute, that you can kind of modify this to be anything. Okay. You can banish this card from grave, attribute one fusion monster if you do special summon 2 surprise tokens, spellcaster, dark, attack 0, defense 0 with the same level. Don't know exactly that's relevant. I mean, spellcaster, I'm not sure, but I think this is cute. I think, I'm trying to think what monsters have been kind of like gate kept by their particular attribute, or maybe weird typing restriction, and this could help. I don't love this as only, monsters you control. I think if it's kind of, I think they were trying to balance it. But I think I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. I know that's a little high, but I think there's some potential here, and I'm actually probably pretty interested in looking through it. Let me know if you're interested in watching a video about like all monsters that are, maybe could be made by this. It would be, I think, very interesting if you could change a card's name and fusion someone with it, because that would open up like all the heroes and Chidals and stuff like that. Obviously that'd be broken, but I think this is cute. I think though it's going to be very niche what monsters are actually relevant to change the type and attribute, because as it stands, most fusion decks are well equipped to make their fusion monsters. The only difference would be like certain Chidal cards could be pretty hard because like they might require, for example, you have to go and use like the Earth, right? For the OG, I forget the ring 10 or level 10 Earth machine. It was pretty powerful, but there was no good Earth sense, right? So you never really made it compared to making Construct or Winda. But now you can change attributes willy-nilly, so that's pretty cute. And this could theoretically also be used just to make like Op Cologne, or if you wanted to make Winda but you didn't have that dark, you could change to that too. So I think there's like certain fusion decks could benefit from this, but I think there might be particular fusion monsters that'd be interesting to look into. So again, let me know if you're interested in that type of video. Anyway, and then last card, and this one, I love it too. They hit like every year, right? They have the DM stuff, and then they had Synchro Exceeds, and then they skipped Pendulum and gave you one Link Era card, which is a Sky Striker card. So that's pretty cute. So this is Sky Striker Mecha Saber. I think it's Adel Saber or something like that. It's a level 7 wind machine, so obviously it's going to work with RBs, right? Please, you only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn during the battle phase. Quick effect, you can discard this card, then target one Sky Striker monster on the field. It gains 1500 attack till the turn. Okay. If a monster special summon one of this card's in your graveyard, you can target one Sky Striker Link monster you control. Equip this card to it as a equip spell. That gives it 1500 attack. Its attack and defense are 1500 in case you couldn't guess. So it's just bad. This is the card I was most looking forward to because it was clearly a machine. It was like, yes, this will help RB. I don't want to be just like an RB guy, but yeah, this card sucks. It's cute that it gives it attack stat. I don't think there's anything special about it. Yeah. I don't think giving your, like, maybe this scratches an itch the deck, really had, where, like, your monsters are too puny. It's nice to have a hand trap. Like, they gave it an honest for the deck. Okay, I just don't think that was the reason why Sky Striker isn't meta. Like, I'm sure that some people are going to say this is pretty good just because Sky Striker had issues closing out games, and theoretically this helps with that. And this special summon effect from the Graveyard is neat because theoretically it works. If you summon two, it's not just if your opponent special summons. So theoretically, if you go like Ray, tag out, or attack with a Ray, maybe discard this to bump up the Ray, then use the Ray tribute off during the battle phase, the tag into a Sky Striker. You can then equip this to that monster and then poke again. I don't think you're closing out games with this. I don't think this is like how you're going to win. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you think this, Sky Striker players come at me. I'll report you to Chris Hansen. Anyway, so overall, I think there's been a couple winners, a couple losers. I think junk stuff is actually really cool. I think this is really big for the deck that needed it. I think the Gagaga stuff is pretty cool, and I think the Red Dragon Archering stuff is also pretty cool. I think some of this stuff is just kind of weird, probably useless. And then the fusion stuff also seems kind of pointless. But I mean, I'm not a huge fusion guy, and the Sky Striker card just seems super odd. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are you most interested in, and what would you be interested in terms of videos, looking through, for example, the original Spellcaster monster, the search targets, or like we talked about, looking through this fusion card. If you are interested in those videos, let me know. And be sure to like and subscribe. Oh, by the way, I recently hit 50 subscribers. It was a big deal. I'm really appreciative to everyone who did subscribe. And if you're not subscribed, I'd appreciate if you did subscribe. That'd be great. Anyway, with that, it's Fundex signing out. Bye.